need to spice or tweak my videos again. Oh well, I'll do it later. Hey Pablo. Yeah, good morning, night, day, whatever. Okay, that was your thumb. Hey Jet. Yeah, the bun gets bigger. I want to do this one and hopefully the next one. But after the next one, I'm not sure if I'll be able to stream it on Twitch if it ends up risque. I mean, I know technically it doesn't have to be risque. It's more of a if it ends up, you know, like if her clothes are too big or something. Yep, bun with the tum. Okay. Luckily, most of this is easy to get into in the beginning. No, why was your eye like this? I mean, clearly it was my fault. And now it's not showing the chat. That's weird. Oh well, I'll mess with it later. Do-do-do. Hope everyone's doing alright. Okay, her shirt was green in the other one. Let's do pink. Not sure how long I'll stream for. I think at the minimum I at least want to get this pick done. Still got pockets on these, so they could be like the stretchy jeans. Let's make it a little bit more gray. Should just make characters based on all these different body types of Blake. Make like separate stories off of them. Because come on, if you saw a nice chunky gal like this, you'd be kind of hard not to be staring at her backside. Be like, Jesus. It's like, you want proof there's a god? Look at that. Exactly. You know what? Fuck it. Let's switch to the good book. Come on. Thank you. There we go. Fit the occasion. Like Georgioff would look at this version of Blake and be like, "Eh, she could be fatter, but you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate the thick." Yeah, I need to make more emotes when I get a chance. I want to make another costume for Becky. I just been busy. Let's make this like a type of glaze of this, but a little bit more brown. Yeah, she probably would. Though Plum does have blueberry jam around, so you know, pretty tough competition. Like Plum would be like, "Yeah, it's a pretty big booty, but have you seen my sisters?" Should be a scene where Plum accidentally drops like her stash, and it's just like a bunch of photos of Jam's butt. And like I would laugh if like Jam found it, but like she had like no reaction to it. She would just find it like, "Oh, Plum, you dropped this." Just has nothing but photos of her ass. But Jam doesn't say anything about it. She just completely ignores it. That would be funny. And we'll just say this was full of like she already had one and it was like vanilla cream or something. There we go. There we go. Pretty simple. And then the one after this will be the version of Blake that we have from the comic. And then after that will be all the exaggerated stuff. Okay, so do this. Merge. Yeah, all the stuff that isn't canon. But fuck it, you know, we're gonna have our fun. Because that's the fun part about the non-canon stuff, is just like, you know what? Even if it's non-canon, we can dick around. I'll put that up there. It's just easier. Nothing wrong with having fun. Sometimes I feel I should put this to 50%. Should be fine, but it's something I'm thinking about. Yeah, it should be fine. I just gotta lighten up my strokes a little bit more. Yeah, that was a fun time. I'm glad I did it because like I didn't have to do it. Like it could have just been Fat Blake and then moved on. Like I didn't have to make a comic out of it, but just randomly decided to do so, and I'm happy for it. I'm glad I did it. Got to play around with ideas, and I can always, like, if I were to make a canon version of Fat Blake, it would just be in the form of another character. So, because obviously Blake wouldn't be in that position. But that doesn't mean I can't use the idea and apply it to somebody else. I was about to say, I was like, music, you want to chime in here? And I'm like, all right. Well, currently I'm working on more iHat and Black Circus. But in terms of like more spin-off comics, it's going to be Caitlin, the girl with the collar that keeps her skinny. So that will be the next spin-off once I'm done with all the commissions and stuff, then I'll have time to work on the spin-off. There's only 6 commissions left. I can work on the next part of those tonight. Yeah, Caitlin won the poll. Because I want to start doing more of the archive comics and secrets comics. Because the way I want to split it is that the secrets ones are just dumb fun, like whether or not they're canons or kind of is almost irrelevant, but it's just focused on more fetishy characters. And then the archives are like side characters that have some like minor stories to tell, and they're gonna be like both of them are gonna be in black and white, with maybe the exception of a color page here and there if I'm in the mood for it. But the archives will just be focused on like characters that don't have big stories, but you know they got something to show. So I'll like do like short comics of them. So yeah, that's how I want to split the two. Yeah, I just gotta get myself organized and finish up the commissions that I have, and I can get started on those. But I did want to work on this, so work on this, then maybe work on the line art for the next part, and then work on a commission. Try to crank out a commission every night or day or whatever the time frame is. It's kind of hard to tell where the lighting might hit her, but it should be like this. That went down wrong. Ah. I'm good. Do. First time you hear me drinking anything, it would be the time I die. That'd be some fucking irony. I'm good, yeah. Next time I'll mute the mic, I just wasn't expecting that to happen. I was like, oh, shit. Do. Sorry for my lack of talking. There's not much to go off of at the moment. Just kind of working. Hey Alex, hope you're well. You just woke up. Yeah, I've only been streaming for half an hour. Viro almost died. It was minor, I'm fine. I've done worse. It was nothing, it was something minor. No worries. Honestly, it would have been really dumb if that was going to take me out of all things. There we go. And that's when I noticed I still have Discord open. But that's okay. just keep it open. The skill of supplying the body with sustenance has been lost to time. Okay, so should be good. Maybe do that. Should be good. It was one massive donation, followed by minor ones. Let me look real quick, because I'm sure I can look at how it happened. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, it was one big one followed by a couple fives, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, it's only 180 left before the whole thing is done. Or the whole thing is funded. I also want to start doing guest characters too. Pretty soon. Because that'll be fun to just do whatever nonsense with whatever character. That way they don't have to only be mine. Yeah, I mean, guest character is just like any character that isn't mine. That's all it really means. I just say guest just because it sounds a little nicer. And then it just boils down to whether or not those get funded too. Yeah, that's true. I should reach out and say something. Maybe ask if there's like a particular size that they're interested in, and could probably apply that to like the end. So I'll probably send them an email, see if they'll reply back. Because luckily it tells me who does what. Maybe can also, well, true. But well, I mean, dude is also a general term too. Like you can call a woman a dude, although there is the term dudette, but still shouldn't be too that big of a deal. But yeah, maybe I can make that a thing in the future where it's like, depending on how big of a donation, someone can decide something. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit too much. But definitely a shout out. I should at least contact them for that. Because if I try to let people decide like on a body type or something based on how much they donate, then it would get outrageous almost immediately. Oh yes, whoever donated definitely has the urge. Like I have a hankering for some thick bun, big chunky bunny. And for all I know, it could have been a collective as well. Could have been like a group of people who pitched together to have a big chunk of change. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas at this point. But yeah, I'll definitely hit them up and be like, hey, do you want a shout out or something? Yeah, Fat Blake definitely has the like, oh geez, there's a lot of guys who are into fat chicks. And then Skylar would be like, amen. She mighty, just letting it all hang out. It's like the easiest way to prove if a deity exists is like, oh, you want proof that Yorjadov exists? Look at that fat ass over there. Be like, God bless. And then meanwhile, Yorjadov is like, huh, what? Because she didn't do anything. I still need to work on the next Creamfield art character. I believe it's Watermelon's turn, if I remember right. Is our god or none? I have many gods if I'm counting all my characters, so you guys can figure yourselves out. I got everyone. Ready to do whatever god you like. Watermelon's the big titty deer from Creamfield. The gigantic boobs. She got jumbo titties. No, I'm talking about art set, not comic. Comic, it's Plum, and Plum is purple. Oh yeah, I'm just throwing clothes on her. I'm not even thinking about where they're from, because I would assume she would have many different clothing. I was like, what color haven't we put her in? Give her pink. Look like a gumball, I don't know. Big bun. I think I'll just zoom in on this. Yeah, she's pretty basic. Like, there's nothing crazy about her. As normal parents, ended up getting fat because of her love of food due to this contest, or not contest, but just like, one a year of free food. Although she didn't get to use it all because she ended up getting in trouble. But then, she's still pretty hefty afterwards. And then Marcy would probably instigate more. That's pretty much it. And she's slept around a little bit here and there. So there are a few men or relationships. Well, I'm gonna say men because she was straight before trying anything with Marcy. So she's at least aware that there are men who are into hefty women. And who knows, maybe Marcy's into that. Maybe she wouldn't mind watching Blake get pounded a few times before Marcy finishes her off. I don't know. Whatever bizarre storyline I decide to come up with if I ever revisit them. I did have a storyline thought of for female Skylar if I ever went back to that. So, you know, there's always options. Honestly, this part is probably the easiest part of this whole thing. The only hard part is just figuring out what kind of background to put her in. But most of these will just be her roaming through the mall. At least Jams was easy when it came to the background. The only hard background was the gingerbread house. And then Evil Marcy was a trip because practically every background was custom for her. Except for, I want to say the factory. I could be wrong though, because I might have used others for her. Let me take a look. No, there's the lockers. I think those are standard. I don't think I did anything special with that. The bed is normal, it's just a flat thing. The trippy background that I got from Kirby. This one's easy. The factory, and then the comic page. Comic page, I just took aspects from the comics and just put them all together. So that was a fun thing to do. Because luckily I can steal from myself. Yay. Well, it's not really stealing, it's just reusing assets. Most, if not everyone, does that. And fuck it, I'll just put one here. There we go. I want to do another painting picture. I just have to decide how I want to do it because I want to practice more. Also want to work on improving my art style more. Okay, all that's left is some blush. Mm, 50% should be fine. I mean, a mole honestly isn't hard to put her in. It's just a matter of finding the right angle based on whatever it is I want her to be doing. And it's really easy just to look up empty moles. And then of course you don't just flat out use the image on its own. You doctor it up and, you know, make the changes you need to make. Oh, I could try to do that with Emerald. Try to do a painting of her. She'll be good practice. So yeah, if she wins, I can do that. Great, now I'm confused. I'm like, was that the correct order of how I was doing this? See, after a while, I start to forget how I was doing certain things. And I was like, crap, how did I do this? Or what order was it in, I should say. Because I know how I did it, I just wasn't sure what the order is. But let's find out. Come on. Thank you. What order were you in? Yeah, that's what I thought. So you should be down here, you should be up there. To be fair, this is probably one of the most unnecessary details I need to do. It's so minor, you can't even tell what I did. But I know that I need to do it, so I did it. Oh yeah, everything's right this time. I need your eyes. There you go. Yay, the office. I hope you have a good day, though. And we're gonna make this shiny because I wouldn't want it covered in glaze. Ooh, no. Do you have eggs? Anything? Some Pop-Tarts that you have hidden in the back because you weren't sure if you would eat them. And then you forgot. Feels like a breakfast crime. It's better than nothing. Damn, French toast sounds really fucking good now. Okay. I think we're good. It's not really anything that needs to be shiny on her other than her hair. Probably buff up a few spots. Just lightly. Lessen that a little bit. There we go. French toast is delicious. I love French toast. All the breakfast stuff, well, most breakfast stuff is really good anyway. It's really hard to go wrong with breakfast items. What's 30 look like? It's not bad, it just seems kind of dark on her. So let's go for 10%. Yeah, that's better. Darkens some spots, but lightens other things. Yeah, not too bad. Okay, so we're pretty much done with her. Now I just need a decent background. Already used that one. Where's the others? What would be a good spot for you? What does this one look like? Maybe. About this one. I think this one's better. Let's try that. Grab. Might flip it so that way the light works better on her. Let's see how it looks flipped. Yeah, could do it this way. That way it looks like she's walking in one direction and then she's noticing something else, something else other way. You're in charge today. Yeah. That one pick of something out of the back rooms. Oh yeah, abandoned malls are fun. I remember there was a mall, um, not like in a town me and my friend would go to get comics and all that, and the mall used to be like pretty decent, like nothing crazy, but at a certain point, I guess it just went out of business, and before it completely shut down, me and him went inside like one last time, and it was empty as fuck. Like there was like maybe two people in that whole mall, and it was just me and him walking around, and like and like some of the lights were off too, so it was almost like total darkness. Aside from like the middle, so we are just walking through it, and just seeing like shutters down everywhere, and like just it was just quiet as hell. And then I think once it shut down, I think it got raided a few times because there were like homeless people breaking in. And there was like another store connected to the mall, and they had to like close off the area that used to connect to the mall because people were trying to get in through there. So that was a thing. Okay, anyway, so let's blur this. It's either 20 or 40. I think 40 might be better. Yeah. Because I'm not trying to have a huge focus on the background anyway. Change all that. Put you at 30 to desaturate it. I'm just going to steal from this one. Copy. Paste. Put you up here. You're fine. Might want to lessen this. It's a little too dark. That's better. Brighten up some of the areas. Yeah, this is the one where she realizes that she can use her discount, her free food at other places that are owned by the same company. Which is like, oh, oops, wrong color. And then the one after this one will be where she is as fat as she is in the comic, but her mom found out about her free food and cut her off. Though that obviously didn't keep her from snacking. I might redo this one. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, I think that's better. Let's spread it out just a little bit more. There we go. Turn this on, lighten it up. Is there anything else I did? Oh, that's just lighting stuff. Should be fine. So all that's left now is some dialogue. Close this. Marcy's all like, I like big bitches. Can copy this one now. I'll probably say this is like a month later. Because, like, obviously she couldn't just go out and snack every time. It's a little bit more reserved. You know what? I'm just gonna grab all of these. Just makes my job easier. There we go. Don't need this one. So I'll say this one's a month, and then the next one will be like 3 months, maybe 4. And then after that is meeting Marcy and doing whatever shenanigans after that. Then I just adjust this. Well, the excuses that I have for them is that they didn't know that she had free food, or she could just get free food. Um, they just thought that, oh, okay, she's starting to put on a little weight. Maybe try to put her on a diet, not realizing that she could just go and get as much junk as she wanted. Until finally her mom figured it out or caught her or something. whatever the excuse is. Can move this one. Crap, what did I name this for Tiffany? I know it was Big Burgers, but I can't remember if I had a Z in there or not. Yes, there was a Z. I don't know, I'm just making up shit at this point. Just glad they failed. No wonder. Yeah, because it's like, aside from just saying Blake just got naturally fat over time, I just figured, like, you know, her splurging on a contest win could be the reason why she got fat, and then move on from there. Because, like, canonically, it's just like, okay, she chunky, and then she just kind of didn't quit being chunky. Like, she didn't try to work it off or anything like that. And her parents are probably like, yeah, she did that. And no, nothing's changed since, but at the same time, they're not gonna, like, force her into losing weight, but they definitely didn't want her going crazy like she did before. Debating on if she needs any extra dialogue here, because if she doesn't, then I can move that downwards. Maybe that could be one of the excuses on why she lets herself get it on with the janitor, so she can have her junk food money. I think we can move this one further over here. I'll just change the layout. What if the weight gain drives were an alternate timeline? I mean, they could be. Nothing's stopping it from being its own thing. Just the odds of there being comics based off of it are pretty low, to be honest. Because I'm less likely to work on those. But I mean, yeah, like it's just dumb fun, and it can be their own canon. There we go. That way, this isn't so clumped up on her. And just move this for a little bit further down. There you go, because that way your eye just leads you that way. Could probably move this up a little more. Oops, wrong one. There we go. Okay. And this one is done. Save. Didn't take too long, only an hour and a half. Minus having to draw it since it was already drawn. We're talking him into the canon. I mean, I don't have a reason to say no. It's just it's its own thing, and I'm less likely to make a comic based off of it. That's pretty much it, really. Food company board member. These free food promotions. Yeah, it could be like somebody who's in charge of like multiple food corporations is like a avatar of Yorjadov. and they're like the reason why they're promoting so much food. And like technically they're losing money, but at the same time it's not like they're going out of business at all or anything. It's just odd. And it's like, I thought we were losing money, but now we're making money. I don't know, whatever nonsense I come up with. Skylar really branched out. Well, if we're going off of Blake Dinewell's timeline, then Skylar isn't a cook in that one. But then again, I don't know, it could be its own thing, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so let me save these out. Port 2. Making sure. Yeah. Okay, now one without the dialogue. I was like, why are there 4 of these? I'm like, oh yeah, one had the graffiti. Or not the graffiti, confetti. Use a little gut gurgle. Okay, I'll do that. Let me just save this one. Show that she's abusing it quite a bit. I do not feel like going through that hassle, so I am going to do it this way. Is this necessary? Probably not, but I'm doing it anyway. Hey Jam, what's up? Just coming here to steal your techs. And I'll draw like a line just to emphasize that it's kind of rumbling. It's like, hey Jam, should I? Hey. That's how it is whenever I just like come across my characters that have nothing to do with anything I'm doing, and I'm just like, oh hey, I'm like, hey. There we go. Let's move this a little closer. Maybe tilt it. Let's see, turn this off. Let's rasterize. Warp it just a bit. There we go. There we go. Then I'll just save this one. Yes, replace. Beer belly Blake. Maybe that's later on when she's fatter, because she's hanging around like the janitor, and then later on, you know, whatever boys that she takes to the janitor's room. So that's probably where she starts getting more alcohol in her. Save. Okay. Thank you, Jam. Don't need this one over here anymore. Alright, so this one's done. I have time to draw out the next one. Let me just look for Blake's reference so I can try to get her body type right. I'll just put this over here. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Grab this picture of her just to give me a base. Alright. Maybe I'll make her have a snarky comment where it's like, "Oh, mom found out how I was or why I was getting so chunky or whatever." But then it's like, little does she know, I have other means of making money, or whatever the case is. More supersized. Yeah, kinda. Sometimes I have to think about the poses because I don't want to cover her up too much. Because if the whole point is seeing her chunky, then covering up her big boobs or belly kind of defeats the point. And I can always change what I don't like. Look at those wide hips. Well, I mean, she gotta pack it in somewhere. Yeah, she big thick. Let's get her face rounded out. Oh yeah, because after this page will be all the exaggerated stuff, so I'll just make it like, okay, Marcy's super into Blake being fat, so she just abuses it. She'd be like, "Does my chubby bunny want another piece of cake?" And she doesn't even let Blake answer. She just starts shoving it in her mouth. Yeah, it's just gonna be a challenge. So probably once I started abusing um, or exaggerating on how she's supposed to look, that'll be when I can give her more like suggestive expressions. If I'm doing that, then I might as well tighten this up more. That way her hair won't get in the way. There we go. Exaggerated alleged canon stuff. Make her look a little greedy. Don't like how I did these. Coffee zombie. I don't drink coffee that often. Most of the time it's just stuff from like Starbucks. And even then, that's like whenever I go out, and that's usually when I'm only hanging with friends. So I don't usually get coffee out on my own, unless I'm just like in the mood for it. Wait, I need to fluff up her cheeks. There we go. That's a caffeine junkie? Nope. Most of the time I'm just drinking water. Water and sheer will that keeps me up at night. Oddly enough, caffeine actually makes me tired. Like I'll get tired first, and then it'll kick in later. So I'll like take a nap after I've had coffee, and then I'll wake up, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm good. Start actually feeling it. So if anything, coffee actually just makes me go. It's like, not that kind of pegging, Plum. She's like, damn, and just leaves. Absorb the nutrients from the sun. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. It's like SpongeBob's like, look, I'm drawing at night. This is true. Viro is green. Such an interesting thing to think about, that plants are solar powered. And that's how we was like, oh, solar panels, it makes sense. No wonder the plants do it. Got aroused by art at night. I remember some people asking me where it's like, oh, do you find it weird if people get off to my characters and art and all that? I'm like, no, that's fine. If they're not doing that, then I'm clearly doing something wrong. It's like, what? Jam's fat ass didn't do it for you? Marcy being gigantic doesn't do it for you? Didn't do it for you? Then clearly I need to up my game here. It's like, alright, we need to start busting out pregnant stuff. Or transformation. Or gay, or whatever. I'm pretty open to most things, honestly. I think I want to slim that down a little bit more. That's better. Oh, I was like, what? I was like, oh yeah, I should probably save this. Probably just have her holding bags of junk food that she's getting ready to chow down on. Give her big meaty arms. Give her some tickle bitties. Yeah, I could totally see characters go like, "It's like, how come you don't eat anything?" He's like, "I harness the energy of a star." Or just to make it even more terrifying, he's like, "I harness the energy of a dying star." Yeah, I could have her like carrying several bags of junk food, and she's like, "Ah, come to mama." She's like, "I got a nice home for you in my stomach." No, she was never fighting it after a certain point, and it's like, "Oh, I really like eating," and she just kept going. And then once it was pointed out to her that she was getting fat, she was kind of like, eh. She's like, "Yeah," and she's like munching on a sandwich. Make her arm just a little bit bigger. Because I'm trying not to go too far, because I'm trying to make it match up to the comic one. Yeah, like I said, I a lot of the time I treat my characters as not only as characters that actually exist and all that, like like treating them the way they would act normally, and not just like making whatever shenanigans happen. But then also as like, okay, they're also actors, so they're kind of just chilling until I need any of them for whatever comic or idea or something. That's why it always amused me when people were like, "Oh, is it okay if I draw your characters like this?" Or "Is it okay if I commission you drawing your characters in this way?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care," because I always get a kick out of having the characters just be like hired help. It's like, "All right, Jam, somebody wants you to have a gigantic ass," and she's just like, "All right, bigger than my normal size." Like, "Yep, probably like 3 times bigger." And she's like, that's what they're into. And that's like Jam's thoughts. But then if it's like Becky, where it's like, all right, Becky, somebody wants you lactating all over the place, she just rolls her eyes like, these freaks. Just rolls up to get drawn. She's like, all right, let's get this over with. So it amuses me to treat them that way. because then I kind of get in the headspace a lot easier and try to make them more natural when I use them for like comics and stuff. Because it's like, okay, what would this character actually do in this scenario? I'll just do normal elbow for now, and I'll fluff it up later. Kind of like when Marcy was still hesitant to be okay with being fat, and I remember people going like, "Oh, well, like she should be used to it by now." It's like, guys, it's only been a week. She hasn't been fat that long. And then that's when we're like, "Oh yeah, it's only been a week." It's like she's not gonna immediately like it, but then once Skylar starts reassuring her, and then she starts, letting it happen, or being okay with it. Would you find it weird if they called me master? It probably would. It probably wouldn't be weird. I mean, well, okay, it'll probably be weird at first because obviously them calling me that and daddy would be kind of weird. But then I probably get used to it over time. Becky will just purposely try to make it weird. It's like, Becky, we need, like, somebody wants to see your ass. She's like, okay, master. Guess I'll go get my ass drawn. Stands in front of me, just bends over. He's like, oh, is this a good pose? I'm like, do you have to make it weird? And she's like, oh, am I making this weird? As she wiggles her ass in front of me. Unless I do like the Family Guy Walt Disney joke. Like, when I'm just drawing, he's like, you want to be a star, don't you? He's like, yeah, that's good. So yeah, I can imagine having them around would be a fun time. Annoying sometimes, but overall I think it'd be a good time. Becky would just be difficult on purpose. Exactly. That's usually what I say anytime I need to like do something for. It's like, all right, we need to make our money. It's like, all right, who would I need to use? It's like, line them up. Or if I like spend money that I shouldn't have, I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to have my girls work the corners again. But then I also try not to overuse certain characters because I don't like doing that. He says as he's drawn Mercy, Blake, and I don't know, Jam like the umpteenth time. But I definitely need to show off my other characters because there are so many for multiple reasons. You just make it 10 times weirder. Yeah, that'd be an interesting time. Okay, so now we're gonna do this. I want her belly this way. I want her boobs on top. It's gonna be bigger than that. I can always adjust it. I'll do this for now, just so I can get the general shape. Oh yeah, it's like which one do I find annoying? No, I think the question they would all start wondering is who's the favorite. And Varo would be like, clearly it's me. I was his first. And then Becky would be like, he uses me as a mascot. And then there's Vaughn who was like, well, he uses me as his representation of him, so clearly I'm the favorite. And then there are all the gods and other characters. He's like, well, he's drawn me more. So that will be a interesting conflict. Fat Black is the best. She's fun. I had a good time drawing that comic. I think my favorite page of that comic was Blake's O face. Okay, judging from her thighs, her ass is probably like over here. Haven't decided what clothes I'll have her in. Probably something similar to the comic page. Oh yeah, the muff. Yeah, I was having fun with that. Just Marcy going face deep. I will say that I probably made Marcy look a little bit too small in those scenes, but whatever. Live and learn. Just adjust her if I ever draw it again. Don't make her so tiny. Was there anything I wanted to add to Volume 1 but never did or regretted? Anything I regretted, not or wanted to add? I'm sure there is. Now that I'm thinking about it. Da, da, da. Can't really think of anything I want to add, but maybe just get I just need to get better at ending a comic. So that like assuming there was nothing more, um, just need to get better at like ending it. Or I mean I don't know because it kind of depends on how that goes because like I ended it with a kiss, and I did that twice because I did that with the neutral ending too. And essentially, that's not a bad way to end it, but it's like, it feels like there could have been more. Yeah, because I guess I did address certain things after once I revisited certain spots and all that with the epilogues and all that. But I guess, yeah, because it's like when it's a romance thing, clearly you would end it with like an embrace or something like that. And like, let's just assume that I didn't use Blake for the epilogue. I guess the only other way to end it is just Marcy and her family just being wholesome, and that's kind of it. Like, it could have Marcy setting the table for her kids, and I don't know, Skylar gets home from work or something, gives her a kiss, and as he helps her with dinner, and then that's kind of it. I don't know what more I could possibly do for that. And this is like ignoring like any kink stuff. Is like, okay, here's like a natural ending to a story. If it was like a kink comic, I could either end it with a cliffhanger of like, okay, here the character's already eaten so much, and then all of a sudden their friend shows up with more, and then that's the end. Like, there's stuff like that, or end with them being completely full and they're like a massive blob or something. I guess there's just multiple ways of ending, and I guess I shouldn't worry about it too much. Danny did maybe 70 explain that even though there was. Well, yeah, like her losing weight wasn't exactly like a sad or like a negative, because it was like she lost weight in order to have kids, but then she got fatter afterwards, so she is bigger. I wouldn't take it as a negative. It was just more of an explanation on how could she handle having her kids and stuff like that, because it is a thing where for some women being too big can cause complications. So that is a thing. Blake could carry Marcy around as in her chest. Yep, be a boob cat. Okay, so Marcy just becomes a boob cat. So yeah, like even though I say she lost weight, it's not like you saw her skinnier or anything. Would Blake have gotten fat just to be with her? Uh, Probably not, or at least not in the manner that was happening to Marcy. And plus, given Blake's background, that was never going to be the case for her if she even attempted it. Because her father would have put a stop to that. If she was allowed to have free reign, then maybe. Honestly, if anything, I think Blake would have instigated it more for Marcy to put on more weight. That was almost what was gonna happen when during that comic where Blake was giving Marcy a bunch of ice cream and the corn dogs. That was almost going to be the case where Blake was going to instigate Marcy getting fatter for Skylar. But then that's when I tossed in the whole Blake Blake's family being a thing and meeting Becky. So that kind of got pushed aside. Ending it with a UFO, Silent Hill. Could do that. Blake could eat a whole giant carrot like Bugs Bunny did. Oh yeah, I remember that. That was because I think Bugs shrank in that episode, or it could be the other one, like the newer one where Elmer Fudd made him fat, or it could be the Looney Tunes show where he kept getting stuff from Porky, and so he ended up getting fat there. See, again, this is when people are like, "Oh, what made you get into all this weight gain stuff?" And I'm like, probably cartoons, because cartoons do that shit all the goddamn time. And that was just 3 examples from Bugs Bunny. What is my favorite weight gain moment from a cartoon or anime? That is a hard decision. From a cartoon or anime. In anime, it honestly doesn't happen that often, or at least not in the way that we're thinking. Because in anime, you just see them like more. I want to say more like big balloon. Well, not balloons necessarily, but they kind of have like that balloon shape and not really fat. Trying to think. Because that is a loaded question. Because there are so many good examples. For at least in cartoons, there's many examples. In anime, not so many, honestly. Trying to think. Because I think vor happens more in anime. But then again, cartoons do that too, like all the time. Yeah, the Templeton thing is definitely a classic. Picturing Marcier couched in by Blake's cleavage sitting on top of Blake's gut. Yeah, I could totally see Marcy doing that. I'm really trying to think of the Waking stuff. Because live action wise, I think the best one would either be the blueberry scene from Willy Wonka or the movie Slither, because there's like a ton of weight gain shit in that. Cartoon wise, there's the Schnookums and Meat scene where they're fat and then their owners are like threatening to I think put them on like a training regimen or something, and so the two get fit on their own. Like they get super muscular, but to the point where they have a hard time moving, and so they decide to go into a sauna so they can lose some weight or some muscle, but they get stuck in there and they end up becoming just like noodles, and so their owners are like, oh shit, so they fix that by stuffing them silly with food. So that one's good. Then there was the Tom and Jerry Kids episode where Jerry's mom stuffs the hell out of Tom. Then there's this lion scene with Tom and Jerry where they get fed by lions, but then the lions want to eat them. There's Totally Spies. There's a lot of older cartoons that do it too. There's Eek the Cat. I mean, pretty much any cartoon from like the 90s downwards have good weight gain. Anime doesn't really do it. Like, they'll just show the characters get big, but nothing really significant. Yeah, Avil Monsters when Oblina gets taken over. Yeah. And she tries to pull out her guts, but they're too fat. And so, Ickis and Crumb have to go inside her. But yeah, like most of the American cartoons do weight gain a lot better than anime. Anime just hasn't really attempted to try. Or if they have, it's like really reserved. Naruto episode with Princess Fuku. I'd have to see that again. Let me just type her in and see what I get. Yeah, like even with Princess Fuku, that's really tame because that's kind of the size that most anime do. And even then, like I've seen characters bigger than her, and even then it's still reserved. Like it's still not that much. Like even Choji is bigger than her, but even then that's like still reserved. Lilo and Stitch, yeah, that was okay. Like Lilo and Stitch was good in the beginning until they just ended up looking like giant balloons. and then it was just kind of like whatever. The Mouse and Porky and Bluebeard. Yeah, like a lot of the Western cartoons do a better job of it. Yeah, it's like that the dog with the ball meme. Yeah, because like they'll have episodes where the characters are doing eating contests, and like most of the time it's with the female characters when they do that, and like they'll show the character with like a stuffed belly, but it's usually just like a ball, and I would say borderline pregnant type of shape, but even then it's like not that much. And then they just go back to being skinny, or they might be fat for a little bit, but even then it's like Princess Fuku size. It's like not that much. It's like whatever. I will say most of the time, if there's any actual like weight gain, it's usually given to like monster characters. But even then, it's like still not enough in anime. On the Western side, they will go above and beyond and do whatever. Do you have plan to finish the one comic with Marcy Skylar that I talked about? Hold on. Do you plan to finish that one comic with Marcy and Skylar? Comic with Marcy and Skylar. I haven't worked on them. Another one. Unless that's wives. That is wives' tale. Or do you think that Japan has a lot of weight gain stuff? I mean, they probably do have some weight gain. Okay, like I would say in dojins there's a lot more weight gain stuff because they're definitely better than anime because they barely show it in anime at all. But that's like it. Like you only see like better weight gain stuff in dojins. The one Sylvester cartoon, Mouse Bounces G stuff. That one was okay. Fairly Odd Parents, Just Desserts. Yeah, that one was alright, but again, they just went to more of like a balloon shape. Feeder Personified. Courage the Cowardly Dog had a pretty good one, yeah. There was the Two Stupid Dogs episode where one character kept eating till she was fat and then a witch ate her. That one was okay. But yeah, like they do that on the Western side like all the time, whether it be comics or cartoons. On the Japanese side, it's most of the time in dojins than it is in anime. I will say when it comes to dojins, you kind of get like three forms of weight gain. You get the typical like okay they're really chubby. I would say like kind of similar to this version of Blake right here that I have up already, and then you get like okay like the pretty much the peak moment like if you've ever read Ayano's weight gain story, or it's either weight gain story or weight gain diary. If you ever read that, I would say that's like pretty much peak, because even though the character can technically get bigger, the character is like pretty much at the perfect display of a weight gain. And then you have the kind where the character is blobbish, like the cheeks are pressed together and like really emphasized. They have like a lot of chin rolls. They're pretty much immobile, and like nothing else really happens. And most of the time, they're often just given a feeding tube. and that's kind of it. Like, to me, I feel that is where I feel like drawing the line, because after a certain point, the character can't do anything, and there's like no more fun for it. It's not like, oh, the character just goes out to, you know, snack at a restaurant or something. Like, most of the time, they're just left immobile and unable to move, and it's like up to another character to do something. And if the character can move for some unknown reason, is just, I don't know, not that interesting. It's just kind of like, okay, there's not really much else they can do unless the artist feels like making the character bigger than the city, and that's kind of it. So that's, to me, that's where I draw the line, because that's where it's like starts to lose its appeal. After School, After School has been okay. Like, I've seen a little bit of it and glossed around, and I'm just kind of like, it could be better. Maybe it will get better over time, but I'm just kind of like, meh. Because honestly, Ayano's Waking Diary, or okay, now I need to know the actual name of it, because now it's gonna drive me crazy if I don't look it up. It is. Where are you? I know you're on this list. Waking Diary. Okay, that's what it is. But yeah, like, once you've seen that, After School kind of falls down a bit on the tier list when you get there. Yeah, but it's more like the body type doesn't really fit. Like, let me take a look at it, because it's probably been a while, so I'll take a look real quick. After School. Oh, god damn it. Do it this way. Because honestly, Ayano kind of. Ah, here it is. After School. I'll go to the most recent. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, like, Ayano does it better, to be honest. Like, the character is big, but it's just kind of like she feels like like it's compressed weight gain. It's like she's kind of big, but not really. Yeah, she's kind of compressed, kind of like a marshmallow. But her thighs seem a little too long compared to her. Yeah, I'll tweak that. I'm just trying to get her basic look. Because I'll shorten her up a bit more. But yeah, like, compared to Ayano, I would say After School is kind of like meh. To me, After School is kind of mid. Like, it's not awful, but I feel it can get better. Or it could be better. And then the stuff by Better with Salt is really good too. But yeah, it's more of a preference for me. It's like, there's like a limit to how I like weight gain, because like, I like it in a functional style. And it's more about like keeping me immersed that this character is supposed to be big and fat and all that. Because like, this usually happens in most of the toonish type of comics, but it's like, once you start manipulating reality so that way the character can like get inside buildings and stuff, then that's when I start getting pulled out of it. or when they explain like, well, all of our buildings are made out of rubber, and that's how they can handle people getting huge, or like, here's these large gigantic buildings so that way fat people can get in, and it's like, wait, that's starting to make less and less sense as time goes on. Yeah, I need to fix all this. I'll do that once I get her body established. Alright, you have a good night. But yeah, I will say Ayano is like a really good example of weight gain. And then at the time, Hetty was really good at showing that off. But now that's pretty much ceased at this point. And then I don't know where Vor Story is going, or not Vor Story, Vor Camp is going. Because I think they're trying to do animated stuff, and I'm like, could you guys do that after you finish what you're doing? But whatever. Vor Story was pretty fun though. I enjoyed that comic. Not any weight gain or anything in there, but it's a fun time. Yeah, like you gotta balance it all out, and it can be hard. Like sometimes it's hard to be like, okay, I want this character to just devour a fucking table worth of food, but then you gotta make it come naturally too. Like you gotta figure out if this is the character's personality or is this the influence of something else. And if it is the character's personality, then you got to make that work for whatever story you're going for. Because you can't just change it just because of the moment. Because, like, by that logic, I could be like, okay, whenever Marcy eats something, then she's like a ravenous beast and has like no influence of Skylar. That's just how Marcy is. But then if I make her worried about gaining weight, then it's like, well, you were just eating like a family's worth of food a moment ago. What the hell are you worried about? Okay, so let's shorten this up because she's definitely way too tall. Yeah. Like the baker never go. Yeah, yeah. I know, I keep reading shit backwards. Yeah, like that's why I'm willing to do these um in different forms and stuff like that, because like I don't mind drawing ridiculous stuff, but if I plan on making any of it canon, then that's when I have to like really reconsider and think about it. Because if I plan on making it canon, at least in the world that I've established already, then I have to, take into account how it's going to function in the world. I can't just make a character bigger than a mountain and treat it like a normal thing. Because most of the time none of the characters are operating on toon logic. Like, I will say the only times shit like that happens is obviously, the sex stuff where it's like, okay, they're gonna take a dick that's bigger than them because, fetish stuff or fetish comic. Or I should say adult comic. It's not entirely a fetish comic, it's just adult because I like uncut stuff. Like uncensored. But like gigantism strikes again. But it's like, I gotta make sure it's all balanced out. And I'm gonna put her belly a little bit lower. But yeah, it's hard. It like honestly like I don't expect everyone to just understand the logic of their own worlds 100% of the time. And most of the time, people don't plan that far. They don't think of doing their comics in that fashion or their stories in that fashion. Because, like, you'll have comics that just have magic without any real explanation of it. It's just they did like magical artifacts and stuff just exist, and they're like easy access for the like characters to grab. So most of the time, I don't think people are thinking about stuff like this to begin with. And then obviously, I overthink on a lot of shit. So maybe I'm just talking on my ass and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I just need to shut up and make the characters fat, and that's it. Like, make her bigger than the house. So I'm like, okay. Now put her inside the house, but she's bigger than that. Put her inside the house. Okay. Puts her inside the house. Okay, now the house is suddenly bigger than her, and that's how she's able to fit in the house, even though she's bigger than the house. All right, you take care. Have a good day. I'll probably work for like another half an hour. Gretchen, I will say there'll be times where she's like, stuffed with to the brim with her overeating and drinking blood and shit. But I don't think she's gonna be like weight gain drive Tiffany or anything like that. And then again, I can always make characters strictly for those purposes of making them like weight gain drive Tiffany or something like that. Like nothing's gonna stop me from doing that. It's just certain characters aren't gonna have that happen. And unfortunately, they might be characters you like and are interested in seeing that way. And aside from like, some side art or whatever, it's just not going to be canon. But I'm sure as long as I draw them like that every once in a while just for shits and giggles, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Yeah, I try. I try to get that balance in. Okay. And but yeah, that's just kind of the type of weight gain that I like. I like a particular balance to it. And again, like I don't mind the other kinds of weight gain either. It's just if you're gonna have a character gain weight from start to finish, then there's like a limit to it that I like. That I feel makes the situation believable. And that was pretty much the case with comics like Ayano and Hetty, and even the some of the Veteruscy comics. Take care, Alex. Some rolls go here. Let's make the butt just a little bit chunkier. Yeah, like I would say when it comes to like anime, there's a lot to be desired when it comes to weight gain, because it just feels like they're being too reserved, and then most of the time they just end up with like a balloon shape. Dojins at least have the right idea, but it amounts to execution a lot of the time. And then most of the time, well, not most of the time, there are often times where we just get like the blobbish form where the character can't do anything, and that kind of pulls me out because I'm just like, well, the character can't do anything, so now this is kind of meh. Well, manga or slash dojins, they're pretty much fine with it. Um, they just it just varies quite a bit. Like there's not too many good ones. I forget the name of this one comic, but there was one that had to do with a chubby girl, and the guy who gets with her likes her for being fat, and there's a part where he goes to her house to see her, and because it had been like a week or something like that, like he I think either he was away or she was away or something like that, so he goes to see her, and he ends up meeting her mom, but he doesn't realize that it's her mom because her mom and her look alike, and her mom is bigger than her, and so he thought that she had just gained weight, and he says that to the mom, and at first the mom was like um a little miffed because she's like, what, I'm fatter. And but then like he's like, oh, you're so sexy though, and so she's like getting all turned on, and so he ends up doing stuff with the mom, and then the daughter shows up, and the daughter gets pissed off at her mom and him because he's like, oh my god, I can't believe you did this, but then he's like, wait, I thought she was you, and the mom helps clear it up and stuff like that, but then he ends up doing it with both of them. So like that one was fun. Like she was chunky, there wasn't like much weight gain stuff in it, but like that was like a good fun one. But yeah, like I would say Yano is definitely like one of the best ones. I think for me, I sometimes hate it when things get labeled as weight gain, but it's like one scene out of the whole story. And it's like, was this even worth being labeled weight gain? Like, I hate it when comics or whatever get labeled as that, and it's like a 1% of the whole story or the whole comic. There was like another comic of a girl who couldn't say no to other people, and she ended up getting like really fat. But like it was good in the beginning until they made her basically just an immobile blob that needed like a crane and stuff to move and stuff. And I'm like, I don't even know where this is going anymore. And it just became like whatever. And like she was basically just bigger than the room, and it just had like a bunch of people giving her like a sponge bath, and I was just kind of like, eh. It's like you had me in the beginning and then you lost it. So yeah, maybe I'm just not like, maybe I'm fine with it visually when it's like when it's like on its own and doesn't have a narrative. But once it has a narrative, I'm just kind of like meh, because now like I'm invested in the story, but then the story just kind of defaults to that, and it's like, okay, so now the character just is just sitting there. So yeah, maybe that's my limit when it comes to that stuff comic wise. I'll just put like boxes in here. Maybe some fries. Maybe I'll have her holding a milkshake or something. Yeah, I think once I'm invested in a story, I want it to make sense for what is established instead of just falling apart at the end. Put another bag. I don't want to do too much because I don't want to obscure too much. Big milkshake. Yeah, give her like a big gulp size milkshake. Have Marcy be like, I see a big milkshake right over here, smacks her ass. I'm just talking. Yeah, let's make the bags bigger. It's like, bitch, she did not come here to get some small shit. She came for the good shit. Do. Obscuring her a bit, but it should be alright. I think the pick after this, I'll make sure not to have her holding too much or putting too much in front of her figure. Luckily her ass is not the focus of this. Can even say like Blake tried to lose some weight here and there, but she just couldn't help herself from eating the delicious food that she's grown accustomed to. So now she's just like, fuck it. Because like once she got cut off, it could be like, okay, maybe she did try to lose some weight once she couldn't get free food anymore. But then she's like, nah. Had some fries poking out on this side. Okay. I think I'll just give her the shorts. Let's put them a little bit lower. Get her chunky butt into these shorts. Let's make it a little bit more natural. There we go. Okay, we probably over here. There we go. Probably needs one of those handles to be holding this milkshake. So she's holding it like this, then her hand would be tilted a bit. Thank you, I'm trying. Hands are a bitch, though. So yeah, let's see. Assuming that she's using one of those handles. Let's give her like a massive milkshake. It's like she orders so much that she just brings like her own cup at this point. It's like, fill her up. fix the handle a little bit. That way, in this kind of container, they'll keep it cool too. There we go. And I think I'm gonna call it for now. So here's the pic so far. Still needs work, but somewhat of the direction I'm going. Might adjust the belly a bit. I think I'll just move the belly to where the breast part. We'll see. But yeah, this is it so far. I'll be posting this one up soon, and I'll have like the flat color version on both the PayHip and Patreon and Subscribestar and all that. But yeah, I'll try to stream again tomorrow. Hopefully nothing will get in the way, but if something does, I'll try to make up for it for doing a night one or something. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I will either work on this a little bit more, or I'll work on another commission to get through, and then hopefully I can work on like an iHat page or something as well, because that's what I want to do this week. But we'll see. Just depends on how much more I can get done. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow or later today, technically. And yeah, you guys take care and have a good night, alright? Or morning. You guys take care, alright? Bye-bye.